And let's just get our Instagram feed up. There it is. And now it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator of and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force. After we have covered all the science and conducted experiments to drive home those ideas, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything that they've learned in the class. Once they've selected their cars, then they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, they check the materials the car is made from. All the information that they can observe, they document that in a spreadsheet, and then once the science has been learned, once the experiments have been conducted, once the selections have been made, then they set up a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, and the students race their cars and observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select those same cars again? Or would they make a different choice based on everything that they have learned in the class? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, all you have to do is go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at aaerodynamics, and all the information you need is in the bio. And you can contact me, and I can let you know how we can bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics Presents At the Track Live. So what is At the Track Live? Well, before I can bring in all those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have them organized and cataloged, numbered, listed, and ready to go. And I have, we are up to 1,096 cars. I mentioned that I bring in 400 for the students to use, but we have 1,096 different Hot Wheels cars currently in the fleet. Now, the thing is, I have more cars in storage that I haven't opened up, and I haven't been able to introduce them to the fleet because before I can do that, I have to take a picture, take a little video. I have to enter the car's information into my spreadsheet so that I can keep track of the cars. So every week At the Track Live gives me the opportunity to go into storage, get some of those cars, bring them out, open them up, we'll take a look at them, see how they, there we go, get all that basic information, the materials the car is made from, the year the car was manufactured, get my picture, get my video, all of that, and then the car is ready to go into the fleet. And once it's in the fleet, then it's available for the students to select and use. Now, we are up to 1,096 cars, and we will be introducing more today. But in addition to the cars that I introduce, you have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and when you do that, you are going to have 3 options. You're going to have a YouTube stream link, a Twitch stream link, and then the third link is going to be the most important one. The third link is going to be the one that says choose your car. If you select that option, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, or I keep saying that, but now it's a series of pages. On this series of pages, you will see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet. We have cars from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. We have cars, we have trucks, we have boats, we have hovercrafts, we have dinosaur cars, fish cars, shark cars. We have scorpion cars, spider cars, we have a bumblebee car, we have every kind, style, and type. We have a werewolf car. Every kind, style, and type of Hot Wheels car that you can think of, we have some version of that in our fleet and listed and organized and ready to go. We have cars that are metal on metal, some of the older cars, some of the cars that I had when I was a kid, like this one, the rear ender. This one is pretty heavy. You can see from the reflection that it is a metal base. It is sitting on the metal body is sitting on that metal base, and this car is heavy. And on our track, heavy cars are not necessarily the way to go. We don't have a gravity track. We have a flat drag track. And so some of the considerations you would make for cars on a gravity track where the weight would probably be beneficial aren't going to be as helpful on our track just because of the way it's set up, and it's not being influenced by gravity in the same way that a gravity track directly influences the speed of the car. So you can pick this car, and you can pick any others like it, but if you were to pick this car, all you have to do is put in the number, in this case 111, drop that in the chat. I will pull that car, and then just like that, you are entered into the race. Right next to it, we have the Hoverstorm. I mentioned we have a hovercraft car. I believe this has been picked to race, and it was expectedly not the fastest. It's not exactly the most aerodynamically efficient vehicle that we have in the fleet, but it's one of those cars that you kind of have to put it on the track. On Wednesday, we have a program, Wind Tunnel Wednesday, where we take the cars and put them into the 1/64th scale wind tunnel known as the Winsible, made by Funtech Labs, and we're able to look at the aerodynamic profiles of these cars and see what may give them an advantage, what may work as a disadvantage, and see how the air is going to flow over, under, and around the cars, and really how drag is going to impact the cars, because drag is the most significant force that is going to influence the performance of these cars as they move down the track. And with something like this, not a great aerodynamic profile, but it's a fantasy car. And what we found is that the fantasy cars, because they have such extreme designs, are a little harder to get a feel for in the wind tunnel, just because they're so unconventional and so unusual, and they just we're just not getting an exact idea. So with this one, like the Piranha Terror, hey Virgo, how you doing? Happy Saturday. With this one, the Piranha Terror, we have a very unique fantasy car. It's a fish car, and when we put it in the wind tunnel, we can kind of get an idea, but a lot of these fantasy cars just have to be on the track, and that's where we're really going to find out what a car can do, and that's what we do here all the time. And with my students, they have to make a guess about why they think a particular car would be faster than another, but then in the end, we put the cars on the track, so all the guessing goes out the window, and we see the results. And once we see the results, then we can kind of weigh those results against what we thought, and make some determinations going forward about other picks. So it is very interesting because we have 1,096 cars, and for the most part, they're all different in their own way, and how they perform is usually a mystery until we actually get them on the track. But that is part of the fun. And hey, Roughshod, and we've got Roughshod's pick ready and waiting, and it's a perfect example of just what I was talking about with the fantasy cars. We had it in the wind tunnel, and we moved it from side to side, and we kind of saw some things, but it's so unique and so strange that we're just going to have to put it on the track and see what happens. Then we can go back and compare that to what we saw in the wind tunnel. And so we have a lot of cars like that. This Turbo Rooster. I mean, I don't even know how to kind of describe this. I don't know what it's supposed to be or what it is, but it has been on the track, and you can't really predict how this thing's going to perform because look at it. But if you take another car, a car that's more just kind of a standard car, like let's say, like this one, this 2010 Ford Shelby GT 500 Super Snake. Now, granted, the actual car is a very exclusive car that it would be, I'm sure, extremely expensive and out of my price range, but it is basically a souped up Mustang. And so when we put this in the wind tunnel, we can get a pretty good idea about the aerodynamic profile and then make some determinations about how it's going to perform. But when we get some of these other ones, all bets are off. Let me go down here and find one that's just, I mean, this Aeropod, very strange, but it's so big that we can make a determination about that, because obviously the air is going to press up right against the front of that thing. But then if we come down to a car like the Forward Speed, there's lots of things to consider. Is the air going to get trapped in those little turbine engines? It's got 4 of those. Just the one thing about the fantasy cars is usually the center of the car is different than the left side and or the right side. When we think about that Mustang or even this Scion XB, this little box, the center of the car, when we put this in the wind tunnel, the middle of the car is going to be the same as the left side and the right side because it's a regular car, and it's got that symmetry. But if you look at this Forward Speed, the center of the car is one thing, but then the left side and the right side are different from the center. So the airflow is going to interact differently on the left and right sides of this car than it will in the center. And so it's kind of hard just by putting the car in the wind tunnel to figure out what's going to have more influence, the airflow over the center or the airflow over the sides. So this is just another reason and example of why we have to, in the end of the day, we have to put these cars on the track. And that's the whole point of science, is to do your research, get your facts lined up, look at the history, and then make an educated guess about what's going to happen. But then in the end, you conduct the experiment. And fortunately for us, conducting the experiment means racing these cars on the track. So all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose your car. You will be taken to this page. You can find the car that you want to pick and drop that number in the chat, and it will be added to the group of cars that we are going to be racing today. So that is what we're doing, and we'll have our tournament, and we will have a winner. And the winner of that tournament is going to have the opportunity to take on our fastest in fleet car, which is and has been this one. It is the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. It has been dominating races really since it's been back in the mix. It is a 4-time champion. It has really not had much competition in months. We have had cars that have been that have done well, but none of them have done as well as the BlitzSpeeder. And when we put this in the wind tunnel, it is a fantasy car, but it's a fantasy car where the wind tunnel really does give us some good information, because we can see that the aerodynamic profile of the BlitzSpeeder is better than any other car that we have tested, and the airflow just, it slides right up the hood to the windshield, across the roof, and across that back line. I don't know why this focus is being weird. Ever since I updated the software on this camera, I've gotten this weird thing where I can't keep, it won't stay in focus. Let's try this. All right, there we go. So yeah, the BlitzSpeeder has just, even when we've had cars that have won the tournament and been fast, the BlitzSpeeder comes around and just blows them out. And the BlitzSpeeder is our 4-time champion, so that means it's been beaten 3 times. And it was beaten by the Gazella R, which it came back and beat. It was beaten by the Dogfighter, and it was beaten by the Mercedes-Benz 500E somehow. And it worked its way back, and about 4 months ago, Christopher picked this car and brought it back, and it has been here to stay ever since. So maybe today we will find a car that can beat the BlitzSpeeder, knock it out, but you never know. So that is the point. We are going to introduce some cars. I mentioned before that I was going through the storage and found a bag that was from a Hot Wheels swap meet that I went to a while back, and lo and behold, there were a whole bunch of cars that I had forgotten about, and they were older cars, which is what I tend to pick up at the swap meets. Usually cars from the 90s and early 2000s, because those are the times when I wasn't into or collecting Hot Wheels cars. And then when my son got into those Hot Wheels and we started racing the cars, then I got back in it. And I had some from when I was a kid, but there's a big gap of time when I wasn't collecting Hot Wheels cars or even thinking about Hot Wheels cars. So when I go to the swap meets, I like to pick up cars from that time range. And I'm going to see what cars we have today. I put them over here just out of reach. All right, let's see. I pulled out a few. We're going to start with, we're going to go with, all right, we're going to start off. This is not one that I picked up at the swap meet. This is one that I picked up just recently. This is a custom 66 Toronado. And we've got this here. Let's see, there's something on the back. Born in 1966 in Lansing, Michigan. Designer Oldsmobile. Turned heads in a personal luxury car that pioneered front-wheel drive. Its 425 cubic inch V8 engine unleashes serious power, while the smooth body sides and raked stands pay tribute to the original Hot Wheels custom aesthetic. Okay. Like this one, custom 66 Toronado into the fleet. Let's crack it open, take a look. What do we have here? Let's check it out. All right. This car is weighing in at, let's see here, 33.9 grams, and the BlitzSpeeder we already know weighs in at 32.4. So this one's coming in at just about 34 grams. And we are going to take a look at it right here. And this is what I mean when I'm talking about the traditional cars versus some of the fantasy cars. So this car, we can put this one, when we put this one in the wind tunnel, we kind of know what we're going to get. Well, at least the results we see in the wind tunnel will let us know a lot about the car's performance on the track. However, since we're just opening this up now, we're going to actually end up doing this in reverse. So we will see how the car performs on the track, and then on Wednesday, if we need to, we can put it into the wind tunnel and see if what we see in the wind tunnel matches up with what we saw, the performance we saw on the track. And so Hot Wheels, we've got a little 66 Toro on the license plate, and it looks like they went with the old school California black and yellow license plate. So this is an example where they put a little extra touch on the car. Looks nice. Got that racing, that striped on the hood. Doesn't go up to the roof line. Like that. Just a nice touch. Got the little black strip on the grill there. And I like the wheels they put on this. This is just a nice, they don't have to go over the top. Sometimes when I'm asking for more details on the car, it doesn't mean they have to go way over the top with a lot of decals and logos and numbers and things like that. Sometimes just some little subtle touches are enough to make a great looking car. And the fact that they did all of that on the license plate, so it says on the license plate, let's see if we can bring it up here. On the license plate, it has, let's see if I can do this. Can't necessarily get it in focus, but I'll tell you what it says. It says 66 Toro, but above that, so just above where it says 66 Toro, it also has, it says Hot Wheels in the place where the state name would be, and it even has a blue and an orange little rectangles on either side where the registration sticker would be. So just a nice little touch, and if they can add that in there, then I don't know why they can't do some other things for some of the cars that are just a lot, that just have are plain, extremely plain, and just begging to have some extra little touches added in. I don't know, but here we go. We have the 66 custom 66 Toronado, and this is car number 1097 in the fleet, ready to go. We have gotten off to a start with this one. Just a good looking car. All right, so we have this custom 66 Toronado, and that is weighing in at 34 grams. Next up, I'm going to pull out one of the ones from the swap meet, and it is this one. It is from, so this is, you can tell this is old because it is from KB Toys, and KB Toys hasn't been around for some time now, but they picked it up at KB Toys for 99 cents. I don't know when they bought this. There's no The date's not on there, but it was 99 cents. And so now you figure Hot Wheels are only, well, I guess you could pick them up for about $1.50. So price has gone up, but not significantly. They're still affordable. All right, this is from the Photo Finish series. It is a Ford Aerostar, and this is, let's see, there were 4 in this. There were the Aerostar, the Flying Aces Blimp, Tank Truck, and the Highway Hauler. Don't know if I have any of those. I definitely don't have the Blimp. I've seen the Blimp at the swap meet, but I don't have it. This one is the Photo Finish series, so I think they just had these screen printed pictures on the side, and this one looks like this is Washington, D.C. There's the White House, the Capitol building, and I think that's the Lincoln Memorial, but we'll take a closer look. So let me crack this open. This is definitely a metal base. The year on this thing says 1985, which I didn't look at the Toronado. Toronado, the year on that is 2026. Is that a 6 or a 5? 2020. We got to bring out the magnifying glass again. Some of this stuff is really, it's 2026. All right, 2026 for the Toronado. Let's crack open this Aerostar. Was the Aerostar, was that Ford? I think it was. All right, let's see. This one's kind of interesting. Let's see what it weighs. That metal base is going to push it up, so it's 40 grams. 40 grams on the Aerostar. And we will switch over here, take a closer look at it. And there it is. The Aerostar. And it is car number 1098. Let me go ahead and get the still picture. And you can see there just a little screen print. I'm kind of curious now what the other cars had as far as their pictures. But this is the Aerostar. I would guess, if I had to guess, I would think another one might have New York City skyline, maybe. But they had 4, so I might have to look these up and see what they had. All right, let's go ahead and get this turning. This wedge-style van, little minivan action. And we are gonna get that. Got the mirrored windshield. Little sunroof I think there's a sticker up there, or at least it's you definitely can't see through it. And then just a little screen print on the side. It's why they decided to go with that red. I don't know. Maybe it looked better on the computer than it actually did once they got it printed on the car. And the back is as plain as can be. So they did all the screen printing on the side and then just left the back totally blank. And okay, this will be interesting in the wind tunnel. I can already tell that that air will build up right against that grill, but then it'll come up the hood and windshield, and then the question is, what is it going to do? Is it going to follow along the roof line, or would it just break off right there at the point where the sunroof is? And we've seen both happen, just depending on the car. But the whole idea is that ideally the airflow, you want it to follow along the lines of the body of the car. And as soon as that airflow detaches and breaks away from following the lines of the body of the car, the air gets turbulent, the pressure is different, and there's areas of lower pressure that contrast against the higher pressure at the front, and it basically just works against the car's forward momentum. So it is the reason why drag is so important when we're racing these cars, and the reason why you don't want a car where the aerodynamic profile is bad, because once that air starts to break away and that turbulent air and that drag increases, your chances of winning a race go down dramatically, and that is not what you want. So we've got the Aerostar, we've got the custom Toronado. So now we are going to go and find out which car is going to be next up. And next up is, let's go with, we'll go modern. So we're going old, new. So it's time for new. We're going to go with this one, this 2024 Aston Martin Vantage GT3, which is got a little something on the back. Born in 2024 in Banbury, England. Designer Aston Martin. Make way as this sleek, bold racer tears up the track. Improved aerodynamics, tougher suspension, and advanced electronics drive a true evolution from its predecessor. All right, well, we're all about those advanced aerodynamics, so let's see what we've got here with this one. The Aston Martin Vantage GT3 weighs in at 34.7 grams. And let's go ahead, put this down here. Switch over and take a look. Get our video. All right. So this one is, I think I know I have another Vantage in here, but this is obviously a different edition. This is car number 1099. It is the Aston Martin Vantage GT3. So already I like the, here we go with the, why this thing will not lock in on the focus. And this has only been a problem ever since I updated the operating system on this camera. So I'm going to have to check and see if there's another update, because this has been pretty atrocious. Anyway, the back end is flat. So we've got that flat wing, and I know that there was a big diffuser at the back, and that, if that is sticking out further than that wing, then we may have an issue with the launch. But it looks like, as this thing comes around, that the wing and the diffuser are at about the same distance. And that would be actually, oh no, well, yeah, this is good. So what that means is that you're going to have 2 points of contact. You're going to have this wing and the diffuser pressed up against the launching block. Why does that matter? It matters because it is going to make for a more stable and consistent launch. And as I mentioned, we have a flat drag track, so the cars get pushed out of the launcher, and there's a block that the cars press up against that pushes them out. And any car that can have more surface area pressed up against that block, those cars tend to get more consistent launches. And that is pretty much the most important, the first most important thing. If you don't get a good launch, your car is going to bounce around the track. And as it bounces around the track, it is going to, there's going to be additional friction that is going to work against the car's forward momentum, and you cannot win. We've never had a car win the entire tournament that has been bouncing around the track as a result of having a bad launch. We did have that Brazilian Charger, which was a unique car, and it was an outlier because it bounced around the track, but it was fast and won some races, which is not typical. And we're going to find out with this one if it is going to get a very solid, consistent set of launches, which I believe it will, because we've had this wing is flat right across the back. That's a good sign. So the launching block will press here, it will press here, and it will just push this car out. And I expect that because of that, this car shouldn't jump up into the air. We have some cars that get that push and fly up into the air, and then they have to come back down on the track and correct themselves. But cars like the BlitzSpeeder, and like I presume with this one, should just get a good solid push out of the launching block. And then from that point on, it's just going to be a matter of whether or not it can beat out the cars it's facing. And this one, again, weighs in at 34.6 grams. So it's right in the right in the sweet spot, which is between 32 and 36 grams. That's usually where we see our best performing cars come in terms of weight. So we have that. I don't recall if I took the still picture of the Aerostar. So just to be safe, I am going to do that. And get this in here. The Aerostar is in the mix. So we have the 66 Toronado, the 2024 Aston Martin Vantage GT3, and this Aerostar. Now it is time to pull another car into the mix. Let's see. We've got, let's go with this. This is about as basic as it gets. This is the city police car. Is that what we're calling this? No, it's actually I see on the bottom, it's a Buick Regal. So we've got this Buick Regal police car. And this is just added to the fleet. Let's see, what does it say? City of Hot Wheels. Police Interceptor. So let's crack this open and take a look. And they've got a little thing on the package that says, look for the real Hot Wheels race car on TV. So I presume there was a NASCAR themed Hot Wheels, or a Hot Wheels themed NASCAR at some point. Probably has happened more often than not, or pretty frequently. All right, let's take a look. This is a Buick Regal, and there's no information on it in terms of the year that this was manufactured. And there is nope, that's just a patent number. Usually there are numbers on the bottom where you can identify, that help you look up and identify the car. So I'm going to have to look this one up myself. But it weighs in at 28.9 grams. We will put it here. Buick Regal, which I had a Buick Regal, I guess it would have been about, at this point, about 20 years ago. All right, here we go. The Police Interceptor Buick Regal. And go ahead and get this still picture of our Regal police car. And now we can get our video, get this thing moving, and see what we've got. All right, this Aston Martin Vantage, what year was that made? That manufacturing year is 2026. And get this police car. Pretty basic. Another car that if we were to put it in the wind tunnel, it would, I think we'd get a pretty accurate picture of how much drag is going to impact it on the track. I can see that, I would think that from the angle of that windshield, and then with the sirens up on top, that would disrupt the airflow. But this one, it is light. It's very light. Let me put this in the Buick Regal. It is light. It's coming in at 28 grams, which is significantly lighter than some of the other cars. That could work in its favor. It really depends. But when you have a light car with a bad aerodynamic profile, which this one isn't terrible, it's probably more typical, but the lights on top will disrupt the airflow. So what I would expect from this one is to slow down toward the back end of the track. That's my kind of basic expectation for this one, is that toward the back end of the track, it is going to slow down, and there's not really much to be done about that. It's just the fact of the aerodynamic profile and the weight combination. I don't know. I think it'll get off to a great start, but on the back end, the question is this thing going to be able to sustain that speed, or on the back end, is it going to start to slow down, get caught, and get beaten? We're going to find out. So we've got a Buick Regal police car. This is a metal body on a plastic base. The plastic base feels unusually odd and kind of cheap, which is unusual. Usually the Hot Wheels cars feel pretty solidly built, but that is not the case with this one. So we have this Buick Regal Police Interceptor, and we will see how that thing performs on the track. There is no year listed on the bottom, so we will move on. All right, we have the 66 Toronado, the Aerostar, the Aston Martin Vantage, and the Police Interceptor. That gives us 4. Let's, I guess we'll go a little modern with this pink Corvette C7 Z06. Now, I know that we have Corvettes. We have lots of Corvettes. Not as many as we have Batmobiles or Lamborghinis, but we have Corvettes. So I'm going to just check, make sure we don't already have one of these. Let's see. Corvette. C7 Z06. So it looks like we have one. Corvette C7 Z06 is car number 426. Let's go ahead and check that out. See, is it exactly the same, or is it similar but different enough? What did I say? 426. Right here. And this looks The same. Looking at it, trying to see if, well, no, it's the same. I like this pink one better than this plain white one, but it's the same car, basically the same wheels. There's not enough different about it to justify putting in another one. So it looks like this one is going to end up as a prize car, unfortunately. Too bad, because I like this one. All right, well, don't want to have duplicates. And the reason I don't want to have duplicates in the fleet, this is another nice car right beside it. I like this one. And this one is the Boulevard Bruiser. Nice paint, nice graphics and decals there. But the reason why I don't want to have duplicates is because unless the wheels are different, unless there's some fundamental difference with the car. One time we had two cars that were the same, but one had a metal body on a plastic base and one had a plastic body on a metal base. So they were different. But when the cars are the same and the only difference is the paint color, then there's not really a point to adding them into the fleet, because we're not adding any more value to the fleet. So this one is going there. The other one I picked up, which I know for a fact that we already have, and I mentioned this before, is that I saw Roughshod came across a bunch of these, or there were some purple cars. It was like a group of purple cars that somebody had pulled off the shelf, and one of them was this one, this bouncing bass, this purple, lavender. There's a little bit of darker purple, some pink, some lavender, whatever. This one's kind of cool, but we do already have one in the fleet. I'm going to keep this one. This is not going to be a prize car because I like this one. This one's going to be hanging around here somewhere, and we'll do that. All right, so let's see. Those cars can't go, but let's see, what do we have here? We have a maybe we'll go with this one. We have, in this box, we have a Subaru SVX. It's a Matchbox, and we already know the history of Matchbox cars on our track. They don't perform as well as the Hot Wheels cars, but we will still give them a shot because you never know. We've had Matchbox cars that have done okay. They just haven't consistently done as well as the Hot Wheels. This is a nice looking Subaru. Let's check it out and see what it weighs. It weighs in at 33.9 grams, and it is kind of cool. Let's go ahead and check it out. The Subaru SVX, and that's it. Don't know. Yeah, this focus issue, and like I said, it only started happening when I updated the operating system on the phone that I'm using as a webcam, and who knows? I should have stuck with what was already working until I was forced to change over. All right, so this is car number 1001. Wait. No. I'm 1001. We're way beyond that. 1101. And it's a Matchbox. It's a Subaru SVX. It is, I see it's was designed by Ryu Asada, who was the Hot Wheels designer, famous Hot Wheels designer who passed away a few years ago. Guy has his name on the license plate. Another of the old school California black and gold license plates. And this is a good looking car, as all the Matchbox cars that we've brought into the fleet tend to be. They all look good. It's just they don't perform as well as the Hot Wheels cars. I don't know what's happening at Mattel. I don't know what the difference is, what material, what's going on, but the Matchbox cars tend not to perform as well as the Hot Wheels. Hey, GSR, how you doing? Yeah, exactly, the updates. I'm telling you, I should have just left it alone. But, you know, sometimes, I think, actually with that one, I think it's one of those automatic updates, and it just did it. I had it plugged in and wasn't paying attention and let it do it, so it might be on me as well for letting it happen. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get in here and get this car. And it's funny because everything about this car suggests that it should do well. The one thing that suggests that it won't do well, that it's a Matchbox. And if this was a Hot Wheels car, I would already have it in. I would probably, of the cars we have going so far, I would kind of have it penciled in to be in the finals. Because if we're talking about the aerodynamic profile, it's not bad compared to some of the other cars that we have in there. The back end is flat, so it should press up against the launching block and get a nice, good push out of the blocks. Let's check these wheels. It's got and the only difference that I ever noticed with the Matchbox wheels, they have the little ridges on the edge to suggest, you know, more like an actual tire. But there's nothing on the actual surface that is hitting the track that's significantly different than a Hot Wheels wheel. Those little grooves, though, they do cause the Matchbox cars to make an interesting little buzzing sound when they're going down the track. That's kind of cool. But whatever the reason is, I don't know if there's something different, a different kind of axle that they're using, or what the difference is, but the Matchbox cars just typically don't hang with the Hot Wheels cars. But this might be the exception. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this Subaru SVX is going to change all of that. And what year was this manufactured? This is 2018. So we've got this one in there, and we are going to add in one last car. If there is anybody who has stumbled across this feed and you say, what is going on? They're going to race cars. Yes, we're going to race these cars. And if you want to get in on that, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose your car option, and you will be taken to our series of pages that has 1,090. Right now there are 1,096 different cars that you can choose from all different eras, styles, types. Millennium Falcon. We've got a whole series of Hot Wheels cars. This 86 Ford F-150 is a Matchbox truck, just a cool truck. And I actually picked one up. I had that one. And then I picked up this Maisto 79 Ford F-150. And down the street from me, a guy had I think his is an 82, and it was a similar body type. And so I have a picture of, I have the Hot Wheels version, this one, and then his version in the background. And I took those pictures for class that are a lesson that we do on scale sizes. And he was cool. He let me take all the pictures I needed, and so some of the cars I pick up because I think they're going to do well on the track. Some I pick up just because I like them and they're cool. And this was one. This F-150 falls into the I like it and it's cool category. we've got this, the Turbo Flame. Just another example of those fantasy cars that I have no idea how they're going to perform at all. But, you know, we throw them in the mix, put them on the track, and we're either surprised or disappointed, or maybe neither. Just depends. All right, last car that we're going to introduce before we get to the other Christopher and Roughshod's picks. And so the whole point of going to that page was to say, you've got a few minutes left. Go to AtTheTrack.live. Go through, find a car that you think is going to be faster than the Toronado, the Aerostar, the Aston Martin Vantage, the Police Interceptor Buick Regal, or the Subaru, and just take the number, drop it in the chat. I'll pull the car, and just like that, you're in the tournament, and maybe you'll find the car that can take out the BlitzSpeeder. Maybe. We also have, our last car is this one that I picked up at the swap meet. The Lotus Elise 340R. And this is most likely a concept car, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, let's check it out. It's in the 2000 first editions, 15 of 36 cars. I don't know. I mean, it must be something like if you're working at a company like Mattel in the Hot Wheels division, and you've been making cars, Hot Wheels, just cranking them out, you know, by the hundreds of thousands or whatever the number is, over all these years, all the different types and styles and models, and you have to come up with the packaging. You got to come up with something. And so, you know, we got the Photo Finish series. We've got 2000 first editions. We've got, you know, Guaranteed for Life, the exotic cars, the factory fresh. So, you know, the marketing people have to keep their jobs. They've got to come up with, you know, ideas. Otherwise, why are they there? So, some of these terms, I don't know if they mean anything. I don't know what they mean. Some are expired promotions. All right, this Lotus Elise weighs in at 36.3 grams. It is a metal body on a, what appears to be a, is that a metal? That's the test. Yeah, it's a metal body on a metal base, sort of. And I'll explain the sort of. The sort of part is that, so the silver on top is metal, then the base is metal, but the black part in the middle and the gray part also in the middle are plastic. So I think that's where this thing, even though it's a smaller car, I think that weight is coming in from having that metal on the top, metal on the bottom. We will see how that plays out. Let me get my still picture of this one. Turn it just a bit here. And we have car number 1102, the Lotus Elise 340R. And just need to grab this video, and then we will be able to get our final lineup set. So this one, I like the fact that the front wheels are protected just a bit, just enough. All right, and we will see. I still have, I haven't been able to, I didn't have time last week to figure out exactly how to use the axle straightening tool, but that is definitely something I am looking forward to doing, and I'll record it so that I can make sure that I kind of document the process, especially being able to hopefully bring back some of these older cars to bring them back to the track. And Lotus Elise 340R. So this one's unique. It's got, so the back end is flat. However, it's a little like the car that Roughshod has picked that we'll take a look at, where the back wheels kind of stick out a bit, and it looks like the wheels are going to be pressed up against the launching block as opposed to a part of the body of the car. And we'll see how or if that makes a difference. The aerodynamic profile, I think at the front end of the car, it's all good. But then once that air gets to here, what's going to happen? Most likely air is going to pour. There's going to be air pouring into this driver's section, but at higher speeds, it's just going to fly off from here. That this is going to be the point of separation. And how much that turbulent air and that change of pressure and the drag is going to impact this car, not sure. It's got some, is it open? Okay, so it looks like it's open down here, but there's actually a little plastic part here, so it's just a window. So it looks like it's open, but it's not. Kind of interesting. And yeah, this is another of the cars that I think it's just going to be hard to predict how it will perform. And looking at the back end, I think I was wrong. This little wing on the back sticks out just beyond the rear wheels. So that's actually going to press right up against there, and that is going to take care of that. Car number 200, sure. Okay, so GSR is getting his pick in here. Let me check the year this was manufactured. This is 2000. And we are good. So let me grab GSR's pick and Christopher and Roughshod, and then we will take a look at those, and then we will hit the track. So I will drop this little bathroom break and won't be gone very long. I expect to be back before the first verse is concluded. So I will be right back. Flush it. Yeah, Virgo, let it run. The flush it jam. All right, so we've got some cars here. So let's go ahead and take a look at. Christopher picked a 2015 Jaguar F-Type Project 7, and let's see, 28.8 grams is what this weighs in at. And let's go ahead and switch over, take a look. Makes me want to pee. Hey, as long as you flush and wipe and wash your hands, it's all good with me. All right, so this one was interesting. I forget the other car that Christopher was considering, but this is definitely the one that I think it made more sense for him to go with. and I definitely want to figure out if, I'm kind of curious to see how this convertible is going to fare on the track, because we have a version of this that is a hardtop, and that one does well when students have picked that. So this one's going to be interesting because I don't recall seeing this race, but it of his picks, I forget exactly why, but there was something about this one that made me think this is definitely going to be the better pick, and it may be there at the end. I think when we had this in the wind tunnel, that air, it actually made this transition from coming up the windshield, and instead of just totally breaking off, I believe it actually continued across and ended up interacting with this wing. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what we saw on Wednesday. So this is Christopher's pick, this Jaguar. That is going to be in the mix. Then we get to GSR's pick. He has this 63 Corvette Stingray, and I'm going to check the weight on this one is 35.6 grams. So again, right in that that sweet spot. And this one is a metal body on a plastic base. And it's got this kind of almost this tuned, compacted, exaggerated look to it. But I do think that when we're looking at this and talking about kind of the things that we're looking for in terms of airflow not being disrupted, I think this one we're definitely going to have to put in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, because I want to see what the airflow is. But aerodynamically, just looking at it, passing the eye test, this looks solid. This looks like a very solid pick. Nothing to really disrupt that airflow. But let's see. So one thing with the Corvettes is the back end. And so with this one, we have, focus, these two, like this, not sure how to describe, it's not exactly the bump, maybe the split kind of bumper here. So these are going to be the points that press up against the launching block. This part and this part, maybe like just the points. And the question is, how will that impact the launch that this car gets? And I think if this car can get a good, solid launch, consistent launches that are straight, then it should do well. If the launches are off and it gets a good launch, bad launch, and it goes off to one side, then like I mentioned before, we're into that Isaac Newton's third law of motion. Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's going to hit the right side. There's going to be friction. That's going to work to slow it down. Then it's going to bounce across to the other side, hit the left side, more friction, and just bounce back and forth. And that's really how you can tell a car did not get a good launch, is if you see it bouncing back and forth. One way to remedy that is to pick a wider car, which it's kind of hard to tell just based on the pictures, but wider cars, there's less room for them to really have these dramatic movements from left to right. So we'll see what happens here. And then the most unique car, the one that I'm the most curious to find out how it's going to perform, is the Vulture Roadster that Roughshod picked. It weighs in at 32 grams, so it's right there at the front end of our sweet spot in terms of weight. And it is just unique. We put it in the wind tunnel, and I don't think we really got any kind of definitive answers or questions answered or anything from that, because it's just so unique. The left side is different than the right side, which is also different than the center. And how that all plays out is really kind of anybody's guess at this point. So we are definitely going to have something to talk about and examine. So at the back end, these wheels stick out further than the back end of the car. So that means that the launching block is going to be pressed up against the wheels. And I'm not sure how that is going to impact. Maybe it won't impact the performance at all, but it'll be interesting to see. The front end of the car appears to be a little wider. Maybe not. Nope, I don't think so. I was going to say that the front end, it looked like it flared out a bit, but it's not the case. It's just an optical illusion. It's such a interesting and unique car. So that is what we are looking at, and I just need to find one little track view. Where is it? Okay. All right. So we're lined up. We're set up. We've got the Toronado. We've got the Aerostar. We've got the Aston Martin Vantage. We've got the Buick Regal Police Interceptor. We've got the Lotus Elise 340. It was the 340R. And we have the Subaru SVX. SVX. Yep. That is what we have. And now I am going to show you what we are about to see. If you have never seen an At the Track Live all about aerodynamics race, this is what you are about to see. And I'm gonna try, if you're watching this, for the people watching on Instagram, I have a whole the graphic that everyone is seeing on YouTube. I have a different version of that for there we go. Here it is, the vertical view right there. There you go. Now everybody's looking at the same thing. This is what you will be seeing. Our 3-camera racetrack view. The cars will start at the top of the screen on the left. In the launcher, I'll give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I'll hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They'll go from top to bottom, pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They will go from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of that screen, show up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. They will go from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the car that wins the race, crossing the finish line first, will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car, and a flashing red light indicates the losing car. The cars will switch lanes after the first race, and they will go again. The first car to take 2 races will move on in the tournament. If a car crashes and leaves the track, no problem. We simply throw out the results, reset the cars, and race them again. If a car crashes twice consecutively, then we have a problem. That car is disqualified, because a car that crashes twice consecutively in exactly the same way, it usually indicates there's a problem that with the car launcher combination that is not going to be resolved by just rerunning the race. So a car that crashes twice consecutively, leaving the track, is disqualified. Now, the leaving the track part is key and important, because if a car crashes but does not leave the track, well, that's just bad luck. And that car will end up having lost the race. So if your car crashes, you want it to leave the track. Don't have a car crash and land on its roof. Crash, land on its side. Crash, we've even had one that flipped up in the air and turned around backwards. Don't do that. If you're going to crash, crash. Leave the track. Otherwise, you're just going to be in for a long day. So we've got our cars ready, we've got our track ready, and it is time to go ahead and hit the track. So I will see you over at the track in 30 seconds. let me just double check the audio. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Glad you can make it. You're going to get a chance to see how your Jaguar performs. And we have some should have some interesting races today. So let's see. We've got this Vulture Roadster. We've got the Corvette. We've got the Jaguar. We've got the Buick Regal, the Police Interceptor. We've got the Lotus, the Aerostar, the Toronado. We've got the Vantage. We've got the Subaru, all lined up and waiting. All right, let's see. What's our first race gonna be today? Let's go with the Aerostar and the Subaru. And with the Aerostar, I need to see if it needs the taller acrylic cover, and it does. So we're gonna have to go with our hybrid cover, which has one side elevated. And in case you're just stumbled across this and you're wondering why is there an acrylic cover, what's this cover that's above the cars? Well, when I designed this launcher, I designed it with the intent of firing the cars out at extremely high rates of speed, because the faster an object moves through the air, the more drag has an impact, but it's also tends to be easier to observe some of the science principles and physics principles that I'm teaching the students when the cars are moving at a higher speed. So the launcher fires these cars out with so much force that before I designed these acrylic covers, cars would fly off the track. What this does is if a car gets a launch that would usually send it into the air and flying off the track, the cars hit this acrylic cover and get back on the track and are able to complete the race. Otherwise, we'd have cars, I would say probably 50% of the cars would be flying off into the atmosphere. So that is the purpose of the acrylic cover. And we are just about ready to go. Your sister drives a Subaru Impreza WRX STI. Nice. Does she race it, or does she obey all the speed limits and laws? Okay, we have the Aerostar in lane 2. We have the Subaru in lane 1. Race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Aerostar, these Matchbox cars cannot catch a break. You're beaten out by an Aerostar? Really? Come on, Matchbox. I don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, when I have the opportunity, and maybe it'll be at the Legends Tour stop here in El Segundo next fall, or this fall, I have got to I'm going to have to stand in line, and I'm going to have to wait to talk to the designers, because I've got to know what the difference is between the Matchbox and the Hot Wheels cars. And maybe they won't tell me. Maybe it's a mystery. Maybe it's a trade secret of some kind. I don't know. But something's going on, because how are these Matchbox cars consistently not as fast? All right, we've switched lanes. We've got the Aerostar in lane 1. We've got the Subaru SVX in lane 2. Subaru Matchbox, you got to do it. This is it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Matchbox, the best thing I can say about those is they look good and they make a cool noise going down the track. Other than that, it's over. This is just, sad. The Matchbox cars from the 80s and 90s are consistently faster. I'm going to have to look into that, because I think the Matchbox cars that I have from when I was a kid, so those might be 70s, 80s, are, I think the axles are bad, so I'll have to use your tool, and if I can get them back on the track, I will. All right, so the Aerostar moves on. Subaru is done, and now we're going to get into actual, we'll just get into straight up cars. And next up, let's go with we're going to go with the Toronado against the Buick Regal and see what we've got there. Yeah, it's okay, Christopher. Because most people end up watching after the fact these videos anyway, and I put in time codes. So if you wait a little while after the episode is finished, I go through and I put in time codes, and you can actually just click through and jump right to see each of the cars introduced today. All right, we've got the Buick Regal Police Interceptor in lane 2. We've got the 60, I think it was 66, Custom Toronado in lane 1, the Oldsmobile Toronado in lane 1. So here is race 1. 3, 2, 1, race. Look at this cop car. The Buick Regal takes the first race and look pretty good, pretty good. And starburst wheel and laser wheels are usually pretty quick. I think I would probably recognize those if I saw them, but I don't recognize the terminology. But they are, I definitely have some of the older Matchbox cars. Those were some of the first ones, and a lot of the cars that I had when I was a kid, the ones that I still have and have access to, are pretty beat up because, you know, I didn't have the first track I got was that inside stow and go raceway, but my friends and I, we used to just, you know, you'd make ramps out of things outside, pieces of wood. We'd roll them on the concrete on the playground, and so the ones I had when I was a kid are pretty beat up, but I think if I can get those axles straight, we might be able to get them back on the track. All right, we've switched lanes. We've got the Buick Regal Police Interceptor in lane 1. We've got the Oldsmobile Toronado in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo! I don't know. I think the Regal got a bad launch, and that means that it got blown out. Let's see. Fontana is a NASCAR track that was raced years ago. Yeah, Fontana is about it's about 45 minutes from here, and so I think I mentioned I've been to 2 NASCAR races, and one was here in LA, and the other was in Fontana. It was probably about two or 3 years ago that I went, and it was cool. I had fun. It was loud. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing at the NASCAR event, in NASCAR and at the NHRA with the drag races, is the sound. Like the cars are so loud, and that was the kind of the most surprising thing. And then at the NHRA, it's just a whole other experience with the nitromethane and the whole thing. It's wild. All right, we're going to race number 3. We've switched lanes. We've got the Buick Regal Police Interceptor in lane 2. We've got the Toronado in lane 1. Race number 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Toronado fought the law, and the law won. The Buick Regal Police Interceptor takes the race, and we'll be moving on. Oh yeah, that Kyle Busch, that was sad. I think they said it was pneumonia or something, complications from pneumonia or something. Yeah, it was very sad. Yeah, they switched tracks a lot recently for NASCAR. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep up on NASCAR. I was invited to my first NASCAR race a few years back. They have an event here in LA. It's a shorter track. They have it at the Coliseum, the Memorial Coliseum. And I went to that, and then I was talking with one of their youth education reps, and they invited me out to Fontana. And I went there and watched that, and yeah, it was great. All right, let's see. We're going to take Christopher's Jaguar, the 2015 Jaguar F-Type Project 7, and we're going to line that up in lane 2, and that's going to go up against the 2024 Aston Martin Vantage GT3, and we will see which car comes out on top. The Aston Martin, I mean, it's perfect in the sense that it is wide. It's just wide enough to fit into the launch channel. It's got the upper wing and the lower diffuser. The lower diffuser, like there's an upper diffuser. The wing and the diffuser are pressed right up against the launching block. And that car is lined up in lane 1. Christopher's Jaguar is lined up in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Wow, that was a close race. The Aston Martin pulls it out as indicated by the solid red light. Those cars were very evenly matched. So that's a good race and a good sign for race number 2. We will see if the Jaguar can pick up the win and force a third race, or is this going to be a situation where we get a sweep? I don't know. We're going to find out. I love those close races. Anytime I can't tell from this angle which car has won and I have to look at the lights, it's a good race, regardless of which car wins. All right, so now we've got the Jaguar lined up in lane 1. We have the Aston Martin in lane 2. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Another close race, but that Aston Martin, it got the lead, held the lead, and did not lose it. It just held, it maintained the exact same lead from about halfway down the track all the way to the end, and that consistency is one of the things you want to see in your cars. And let's see. Oh, there are upper diffusers. Interesting. Huh. Where would those be? Where would an upper diffuser be mounted? Huh. Let's see. Oh, okay. You went to Richmond and Chicagoland. Yeah, it was crazy. I had there was a NASCAR, like one of the representatives, because I'd never been before, and so I was there, and I had questions, but it was so loud. We were standing right next to each other, and couldn't talk to one another because it was so loud. Now this was the one. It's in the LA Coliseum, which is where USC plays football, and the Rams used to play there, and so it echoes a lot. And I think maybe that was part of the thing. But the way we had to communicate is I had to type messages on my phone and then show him, and then he'd basically we were texting because we were standing next to each other but couldn't hear each other. All right, let's go. We're going to go with GSR 63 Corvette Stingray. And we will go with the Lotus Elise 340R. So the Stingray versus the Lotus. And the Lotus will be in lane number 1. The Corvette will be in lane number 2. And we will see what happens. Now this Lotus, very interesting. I have no idea. I think with the Lotus, I expect that toward the back end of the track, we'll see it lose speed, and the Corvette will either, if it's behind, it will gain ground, or it will expand its lead. I think we're going to see some movement one way or the other at the back end of the track, so look out for that. The Lotus is in lane 1, the Corvette's in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. So the Corvette won by a lot. But what happened with the Lotus was it went up on 2 wheels and was looking like it might crash right at the beginning. And then it righted itself. It got right. But the problem is you don't have most cars. The majority of cars aren't good enough to have a weak, wobbly start and still win a race. Usually what's going to happen is you're going to, all the time that it takes the car to correct itself from a bad launch is distance that it's going to give up in the long run on the race. So, yeah, it is. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, the vortex generators. Okay, got it. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, this is you can't have this. You can't have these kind of wobbles. Like these cars are too. They're moving too quickly, and a car that stays straight. That's why the best thing you can do is get a good launch. And after you get a good launch, I mean, really, the rest of it is just taken care of by your aerodynamic profile, really. If you get a good launch and stay straight, you're already ahead of the game. So we've switched lanes. We've got the Corvette in lane 1. We've got the Lotus in lane 2. Can the Lotus stay on the track? And if so, will the race be any closer? I don't know. I think this Corvette's got some speed. GSR may have picked a really good one today. All right, here we go. Race 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Why do I even open my mouth and make these predictions? It's basically like the announcers in basketball when they say, "Oh, he hasn't missed a free throw in like 2 months," and then the next thing he misses the free throw. So the Lotus took that race. That race was very close, and who knows? Maybe the first race would have been close had the Lotus not had that terrible launch. So now it's 1-1. We are going to see if the Lotus can have a consistent launch and result in another close race, or if we are going to have a blowout. But either way, we are in race. And that is why you got to watch out with this thing. All right, fingers are all still intact. Cars are lining up here and here and all right. And now we have the Corvette in lane 2. We have the Lotus in lane 1. Lotus has got to stay straight and stay on the track to make this competitive. Here we go. Race number 3. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo-hoo! The Corvette hangs on and pulls it out. I couldn't really see. I mean, the cars looked pretty even for the entirety of that race. I didn't notice the drop off in speed that I was expecting to see from the Lotus, but the Corvette held on, took it out, and it is moving on. We are now into our final group of five cars, and it is time to see what Roughshod's Vulture Roadster can do. We're going to take the Vulture Roadster, and let's go ahead and match that up with we'll put it up against the Aston Martin and see what we get. Yeah, those were pretty good. All right, let's see. Here we go. Aston Martin versus this Vulture Roadster. There's every once in a while we get a car that I'm just curious to see on the track. I don't recall this thing racing. It has raced, but I don't remember what the results were. And it'll either be impressive or not, but that's not much of a prediction. This Aston Martin, I'm very impressed with how well it fits into the launcher. It's like perfectly slides in there, nice points of contact. I haven't seen a car like this fit in like this since probably the Mach Speeder is probably the other one that kind of comes to mind. So we've got the Aston Martin Vantage in lane 1. We've got the Vulture Roadster in lane 2, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo-hoo, GSR and Roughshod were right. The Vulture for the win, and it took that with ease. I didn't see anything from the Aston Martin to suggest that it got a bad launch, which it definitely is unlikely to get a bad launch just based on the way that it slides right on into the launching block, into the launcher. But that is just one race, and you got to win 2 races around here to move on. So we are going to switch lanes and put the Vulture Roadster in lane 1. This Aston Martin Vantage is going to slide in perfectly, fits like a glove, to lane 2. So Aston Martin lane 2, Vulture Roadster lane 1, race 3. 3? Is this where? Yeah, 3. No, 2? Why? No, this is definitely race 2. Race 2. All right, race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Ooh, okay. Aston Martin came back. Now, what we did see at the end is that the Vulture Roadster was closing the gap, which means that the Aston Martin was losing speed toward the back end. The problem is it ran out of track before, or the problem for the Vulture Roadster is that it ran out of track before it could close that distance. If this track had been maybe 6 feet longer, Vulture Roadster would have gotten it because it was closing the gap. Whatever the aerodynamic and drag considerations, or perhaps I couldn't see everything, but whatever the forces were that were acting on the on the Aston Martin, it was causing it to lose speed. And as it was losing speed, that Vulture Roadster was catching it, but it ran out of track. So, we are coming down to our third and final race. It's going to be the Aston Martin Vantage in lane 1, and it's going to be the Vulture Roadster in lane 2. The winner moves on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. very close race, but the solid red light tells us what we need to know. The Vulture Roadster is moving on, and the Aston Martin Vantage put up a good fight, but it is not going any further today. All right, so now we have a nice interesting lineup set here. We've got GSR's Corvette. We've got our Aerostar minivan. We've got the Police Interceptor. Let's go ahead and go with we're going to go with the minivan, the Aerostar, against the Corvette. So let me grab the other acrylic cover, our hybrid cover, and we will set this up. Let's see, how many pieces of track are there to make a quarter mile? So it's interesting because there's two different types of or lengths of track, and basically, if you can see, I'll show you here. I have these lengths, which are like that. Those are a little longer. This is sort of the standard Hot Wheels track length. I think it's like a foot versus either 2 foot or 2 feet, maybe. Here. Not exactly. I'm not sure offhand how long the longer pieces are, but most of the pieces are about a foot long. But I found these longer pieces, and that's what I use. So as far as how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe they are about 2 feet. And that is the answer to that trivia question. All right, we have these cars are going to be lined up. We have the, if I can get it to stay. Come on, stay put. There we go. All right, we're going to have the Aerostar in lane 1. And we have the Corvette in lane 2. This Corvette Stingray, this kind of compacted, tuned out Corvette Stingray in lane 2. Aerostar lane 1, race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Wow. Okay, we're talking about unexpected results and why we have to race the races. The Aerostar took it, which I was not expecting to happen, but here we are. We are going to race number 2. Cars are going to switch lanes, and we are going to see if the Aerostar was that a fluke, or is this going to be the sleeper of the week? Maybe that should be a whole feature. I think maybe it will be. I have to start chopping up this longer content into little shorts and reels and other things. And there's race of the week. I have a template set up on the computer. I just have to pull the video, but then you get busy with other things and it kind of goes by the wayside. But I think a sleeper of the week might be a more interesting little feature. And right now, I think the sleeper of the week is the Aerostar. We're going to see if it can pull this out. We switched lanes. We've got the Aerostar in lane 2. We've got the 63 Corvette Stingray in lane 1. Race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Aerostar again. Oh, look at the Aerostar is coming all the way back. Wow. Okay. The Aerostar is in the finals, and the Aerostar is going to be taking on either the Buick Regal Police Interceptor or the Vulture Roadster. We are going to go to our next semifinal matchup and see Yeah, the actual track. That's where with the setup for the quarter mile. Um, the the finish line is at exactly like 20.6. Like it's a quarter mile, but obviously I had to add on some extra um, for the area at the end. One for the camera and two so that I could have a little backstop, and that is that. But these track pieces, and I think I had to change because so I mentioned those longer track pieces at the beginning here. These are shorter pieces, so I think I have a mix in there of longer and shorter pieces just because with the finish line I had to make sure the sensors were lined up and there have to be holes in the bottom of the track. So yeah, but it is 1/64 scale quarter mile, and we are about to see two cars head down that strip right now. We have the Vulture Roadster in lane 2. We have the Buick Regal Police Interceptor in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Oh, I don't need this anymore. Well, we're not going to need it until the finals. And the Vulture Roadster. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whew. That Vulture Roadster is quick. I mean, this is, like you can just tell when a car is fast, and it's not necessarily that it's fast because it's racing a slower car. You can just look at it independently and tell that that car has some speed to it. Let's see. All right. Oh, right. Yeah. See, you got the idea. Make a short on that Grogu car, and see if I was a proper, if I was on top of my YouTube game, which I'm not. Like most of I'm just doing this. One, it's just fun. It gives me a way to, puts me on a schedule to get these cars out of storage and into the fleet and all that. But yeah, if I was on top of my YouTube game, I would have had a Grogu promotional short and reels and all that stuff ready to go along with this movie launch. But I'm not I'm not smart enough to think that far ahead. So here we are. All right, Vulture Roadster has one win already. It's looking to try and make it to the finals against the Aerostar. We've got the Vulture Roadster in lane 1. We've got the Police Interceptor in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That race was much closer, but Roscoe P. Coltrane could not keep up with the Vulture Roadster, and as a result, the Police Interceptor is going back to the station, and the Vulture Roadster is going to the finals in a very interesting finals matchup between the Vulture Roadster and the Aerostar. I don't know. I think with the Vulture Roadster, I didn't know what to expect from that, so I can't really say I'm surprised. The Aerostar, I'm blown away. Totally blown away. Let's see. Do modifications. I don't. Funny part. So I don't modify the cars so that they can race on the track. The only modifications I ever do are usually when I have to cut something off of the car in order to make it fit on the track. That's about it. But there are some things that I plan to do on that other channel, on the workshop channel. but we'll see when I get to those. Because one thing I'm going to do is when I'm trying to figure out how to work and use the axle straightening tool, that I'm definitely going to be doing on that channel, and I will record it and see how that goes. All right, this is our finals matchup. It is the Vulture Roadster, roughshod's pick in lane 2 against the Aerostar. Oh, I got to change this cover. We got to go with our hybrid cover. The Aerostar is in lane 1. The Vulture Roadster is in lane 2. This is race number 1. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Aerostar. This is sleeper city. This is the absolute definition of a sleeper. No, I don't modify the cars at all. I don't put any graphite on the wheels, anything like that. The way they race is the way they come out of the package is the way they race, and that's pretty much it. I remember when I was in Cub Scouts and we used to do the Pinewood Derby. We'd put graphite on the wheels to help the cars along, but no modifications. Well, these cars are, well, put it like this. Matchbox cars are 1/64 scale. Hot Wheels, they take liberties. They definitely take liberties with the style and design. Matchbox are much closer to being right at the scale size, at least according to the designer that I spoke with a couple of years ago, and which is why the Hot Wheels have cooler stances and different kind of widths that aren't exactly on point. But for the most part, the Matchbox cars are pretty true to that size, and it's interesting. All right, this is the finals. Aerostar has taken the first race. We've switched lanes, and now the Aerostar is in lane 2. The Vulture Roadster is in lane 1. The Vulture Roadster needs to take this, or the ultimate sleeper is going to be today's champion. So here we go. Race number 2, Aerostar, lane 2. Vulture Roadster, lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Aerostar. The Aerostar. It is called it was from the photo finish edition, and that was kind of, I would say that would probably qualify as a photo finish. But the picture that would be shown is the Aerostar crossing the finish line first and taking the race, taking the title. It is today's champion, and now the Aerostar gets to go up against our fastest in fleet car. We are going to find out right now. Is the Aerostar, I mean, it's already up there as an ultimate sleeper. Is it going to be the absolute ultimate sleeper and take out the BlitzSpeeder? I really don't know. I can't, come on. If this happens, this will be, without question, the most shocking upset in the history of all the thousands of Hot Wheels races I have watched and observed. This will be it. We've got the BlitzSpeeder, our 4-time fastest in fleet champion, in lane 1. We have the Aerostar. We have the Aerostar in lane 2. We are using this hybrid cover, but that shouldn't make too much of a difference. But here we go. the BlitzSpeeder, fastest in fleet champion, the Aerostar in lane 2, nothing to lose, all on the line. Here we go. Fastest in fleet. Aerostar lane 2, BlitzSpeeder lane 1, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the BlitzSpeeder said, don't give me that long extended promo and a hype package and a sad story and a narrative and all that about the scrappy sleeper car from the, from the swap meet. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to just get out there, do my thing, and blow it absolutely off the track. That race was not close, and, the dream may be over. If it's not over, it's dying on the vine right now for the Aerostar, because the Aerostar has to come back and take 2 races from the BlitzSpeeder after being obliterated in the first race. All hope is not lost. It's getting there. So here we go. We've got the Aerostar in lane 1. We've got the BlitzSpeeder in lane 2. Race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh. The BlitzSpeeder crashes. Interesting. So we are going to have to run this again, and I don't know, so we have the hybrid cover, which has one side lower and one side higher to accommodate the taller vehicles, but the low side is the same height as the standard cover, so it's not like that really should make a difference with these cars. But the BlitzSpeeder crashed, which is unusual, not unheard of, but so we've got them reset again. We've got the BlitzSpeeder in lane 2, Aerostar in lane 1, race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, all right. BlitzSpeeder took that race. Obviously, it remains our fastest in fleet champion, but that was not a blowout. That was more competitive than most of the cars have been against the BlitzSpeeder that I can recall, other than the cars that have beaten it. So let me gather up these cars, head back in the garage. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a closer look at our ultimate sleeper and some of what's coming up next, and I will be back in just a minute. So the BlitzSpeeder remains our fastest in fleet champion. It is a first ballot Hall of Fame Hot Wheels race legend, and it did its thing. But the BlitzSpeeder, as good as it is, as incredible as it is, as amazing as it is not the story today. The story today is the photo finish Aerostar. That's the car. This is the one that is going to be responsible for the new feature Sleeper of the Week. And I'm going to have to put something together, because this is the whole reason to race these cars. If you just go by what we've seen before and what we expect to happen, then we make certain picks and certain assumptions. But when we actually put these cars on the track, we get a whole other perspective, because of the cars that race today. If before we race the cars, if I had to pick which car was going to come in dead last, it would either be this one or the Matchbox, and I would probably pick this one. The reason I raced this one in the Matchbox first to begin with was because I figured those were the two weakest cars that were in the lineup. But you have to race these cars to find out, because you just never know, which is why I go back to, we've got 1,102 cars. The BlitzSpeeder has beaten a lot of cars, but it hasn't beaten 1,101 cars. So the odds that there is another car in the fleet faster than the BlitzSpeeder, odds are good. I would take the field versus the BlitzSpeeder. But even though as dominant as the BlitzSpeeder is, but the whole point is that of those 1,100 and whatever cars, there are cars that people don't pick because they kind of look at the profile and think, that car doesn't have a chance. This one, I can guarantee you, unless someone has seen this episode, like someone, a future student of mine, is never going to pick the Aerostar. Never. Unless there's something that just catches their eye, like the reason for them to pick it wouldn't be because they're thinking about aerodynamics and all of that. It would be something else. But this is the kind of car that nobody picks. Nobody would pick it. And it won today's tournament, and it hung in there with the BlitzSpeeder, kind of. But it would never get picked. So that's my point, that of those 1,000+ cars, there are cars in there that have never been picked and are never going to get picked, probably, because we make assumptions about what the car can do based on its appearance. And in a lot of ways that makes sense, because we do have a body of evidence. We have seen hundreds and thousands of races, so we know which cars tend to do well. But there's certain cars that never get their opportunity, never get a shot, because everybody writes them off because of their appearance. So this is the example. The Aerostar, the picture, what was it called? Photo Finish Series Aerostar that someone bought at KB Toys for 99 cents is our champion for today. And efficient rollability can overcome aerodynamic inefficiencies. That's true. And we're gonna have the Aerostar in the wind tunnel, because as I mentioned before, I can see the airflow stacking up here and then moving up the hood to the windshield. My question is, what are we going to see in the wind tunnel? Is that air going to come up to the past the windshield to the roof and then just follow along the roof line and tail off? I think that's what we might see. Based on how this performed, I think that's probably what we'll see, is that we're not going to see separation of the airflow here. I think that airflow is going to come up, and I think it's going to stay attached right along the roof line, and then it will tail off in the back. That's what I'm thinking. But we're going to put this in. Also, the fact that the windows are closed. There are no openings. So this is going to be a great car to have in the wind tunnel, because we've kind of done this in reverse. We saw how it performed. Now we're asking the question of why. Usually, we do all of that, the other analysis, put it in the wind tunnel and look at the airflow and the weight and all of these things. Then we see it perform. This one is in the reverse. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see. So Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, we will be here on Instagram, on Twitch, on YouTube for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, and we will be looking at these cars. And then I'm writing down, Christopher, I'm writing down your picks. I forgot to do that last time. So 658 and 690. We will have those cars in the wind tunnel. And yeah, I don't remember seeing the BlitzSpeeder crash. I think maybe once before, but if it has crashed, like, it was a long time ago. But it did get back on point. So we'll definitely be seeing the BlitzSpeeder in the wind tunnel. We will be seeing the Aerostar in the wind tunnel. Probably that Lotus, because I'm just kind of curious about it generally. But all the other cars are pretty much standard. And then we will throw in Christopher's cars and any other cars that get recommended. But this was a good race day, and I love it when these cars come out of I think the last time I was this shocked by a car's performance was the Dogfighter, and the Dogfighter is just a whole other animal, if you will. But the Aerostar, glad I picked it up, and glad we had it on the track. This was absolutely an impressive performance. So that is what we do. We just pull cars out of storage, introduce them into the fleet. We are now up to 1,102 cars in the fleet, and I even have all about aerodynamics. We started, there's a thing that we're doing for birthday parties. Someone asked me, hey, can you do something for my kid's birthday party? And so it's a whole thing of racing the cars. Not as much science involved because the kids are going to be on cake and candy and whatever and running around. But I have a whole other set of cars, about 108 different cars, most of which are already represented in the main fleet. And so I was going through cataloging those, getting different cars. And that's a project that is in the works, and we're going to have some promotional things for it. If you're in the Southern California area, then you can have all about aerodynamics and Hot Wheels racing at your kid's birthday party. But the normal things that we do every Saturday, it is going to be At The Track Live. We are going to be racing Hot Wheels cars, reviewing Hot Wheels cars, talking about Hot Wheels cars. It's just what we do. You can watch the old episodes on our YouTube channel. They include time codes, so you can just jump to whichever part of the episode you want to go to. We have Wind Tunnel Wednesday, every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, using the Funtech Labs 1/64th scale wind tunnel, the Winsible, and checking out the cars, taking a closer look at the aerodynamic profiles of these cars. And then we have our 24/7 lo-fi chill Hot Wheels channel that is still up and running, and it's just chill music, Hot Wheels cars. These videos that I take, these are the videos that are on the channel, just playing continuously 24/7 365. We are there, and I think I've covered all the bases. And most importantly, if you want more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics. So, for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, At The Track Live, all about aerodynamics in the Lo-Fi Chill channel, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.